Well, they want me to share my feedback with them on the Elyon CBT 1. They said they're eager to see what I have to say. I was Vulpin, blue. I was just following my guild. Legacy. Veritas, Furtus. How would I rate my first impression of Elyon? Consider first impression the first hour of your gameplay. After 3 hours of not being able to log in. But when I actually logged in, the game was amazing. If we're counting the first hour of gameplay, then it was a 10. It had a very engaging story, and there was fast-paced combat. The game felt smooth and responsive. I mean, that's everything you would want in an MMORPG. I could talk about a few bugs that I found later on in the game. Like there was a bug with the field of view. I only played Warlord. How satisfied was I with my main class? I'm gonna give Warlord an 8. That's just because potentially see the class getting very meta, but that being said, I don't know what patch they're gonna release this game on, but the patch that we were on in closed beta, the Warlord was very meta, very good class, and if the enemy team had too many of them, it's just impossible to win. Kind of unbalanced, but you know, it was still a very, very, very fun class to play. It was just very unbalanced. But I mean, the combat was a 10. But all things considered, I'm just gonna give it an 8. How would you rate the tutorials presented in the game? I'm gonna be honest. I only paid attention to the tutorials for maybe the first 30 minutes. And then I just started clicking through everything because I was trying to level very quickly. But I eventually figured mostly everything out. But the tutorials that I did read were pretty good. We definitely need scalable elements on the UI. And we need to be able to move the UI because we couldn't move anything on the UI. It never told you when someone died or when someone killed someone. There was no UI to track who was killed. You would have to look in your kill history to see who killed you, but it's not really announced when someone gets killed, so I found that really odd. There's no option for that in the UI improvements, but I definitely think that should be implemented. There should definitely be a way for you to track who's being killed in the chat log. My matchmaking quality was very good for the 1v1s, for the 2v2s, but for the 3v3s, there was a lot of players that would queue and then they wouldn't accept the queue. Potentially, you get 3 people that load in just to load out because the arena can't start without all 4 players. So I had my time wasted maybe 15, 20 times before I just kind of stopped queuing 3s because I would queue 3s and someone would leave and then we couldn't start the arena because we didn't have enough players. But when I actually did get a match, the matchmaking was pretty balanced. I fought some really good players, and I fought some okay players, and I fought some not so good players. I would say it's pretty balanced. I couldn't get anyone for the level 39 dungeon. I only did the 37 5-man dungeon, and it was very fun. However, people didn't know the mechanics. I mean, that's not the developer or the publisher's fault that people don't know mechanics though, so I can't blame that on them. They were still pretty fun though. They were actually very fun. There was very good mechanics in that dungeon. I'm actually gonna make a video of that. Yeah, there were very good mechanics in that dungeon. Solos were pretty fun. Fast paced. I love the combat system in this game. There's endless customization with the skill attributes and the runes. Runes and Mana Awakening they're really good for setting like your character's base stats or getting extra bonuses. But the skill enhancement is where the combat of this game it's just it becomes so amazing. You can alter all these skills to do completely different things and customize a build that's 100% unique to you. Like maybe 10, 15 warlords could all have a similar build, like with using the same skills, but that doesn't mean that they're going to use the same exact skill enhancements, which I think that's a really unique combat feature. Uh, that being said, I'm positive that people will release builds and people will theorycraft, and there will always be a meta. But the fact that there are still this many skill enhancements, uh, I think it's really awesome. Very diverse, and the combat was smooth. Even when there was lag, it was it was like predictable. It wasn't like MMORPG. Like I didn't see any slingshotting. I saw no slingshotting. Like when something would hit, it would actually register. There was no missing frames. The only complaint is that the server took so long to come up. But when the server came up, it was very smooth. There was no I didn't see any lag. I didn't see any slingshotting. Even when I was doing RVR, it was still very smooth. There was a slight loss in frames, but even then, I was running on high, and the combat and the game was still smooth. That was 200 versus 200. That was 400 players on the screen, and it was still combat was still fluid. It was still smooth. Yeah, I mean, great job. Combat was a 10. The difficulty of the monsters during the main quest line, dude, that's like a 6. It was so easy. How fun was it customizing your characters with skill attributes, rune attributes? It's a 9. There should be a little bit more description as to the different bonuses of runes. I don't think the game does a very good job with introducing runes to the players um, because I feel like it's very punishing for a new player to come into a game and then they invest their runes and they end up just completely getting all the wrong runes. That being said, there is a very good feature they input into the game to where you can transfer and merge runes of different colors. For example, if you get like a tier 3 blue rune and you want to upgrade that, and you have another tier 3 of like orange, you could actually upgrade the orange instead of the blue, or you could upgrade the blue instead of the orange. You don't have to just stick with just upgrading blues to blues and oranges to oranges. So you can change your runes pretty much whenever you feel like upgrading them, which I think that's a very good feature. But I feel as though there should be a little bit better of an introduction to the rune system because it's very punishing um, with all the diversity of the runes. But that being said, it was still very fun, very very fun feature of the game. I was satisfied with the character growth speed. That was a 10. I was leveling very fast, and then when I started grinding, it was fast. It wasn't like uh, insanely fast to grind, but it only took like a couple hours of grinding to get a level, and you're only grinding to 40, so it's not that many levels to grind from 36 to 40. I feel like that's fair for a Korean MMORPG. How satisfying was the item farming? There is not a good way to get very many great PvE items. The PvP item, like I don't know if you call that farming. The PvPing to get honor equipment was very fun, but the PvE grind for good gear was not very good. That being said, I didn't get to do the 39 dungeon or the 40 dungeon. I think that's where most of the good drops are. But yeah, I didn't get any good drops, even with all the item drop bonus multipliers. I didn't get any good drops the whole beta. Mostly blues and like some breakthroughs, but I got like, well, people say like PVE purples or whatever, right? They're for PVE, but I didn't see any good drops like that for me to even sell or anything. So uh, I don't know. Could just be me. I could have just had bad RNG. How would you rate the housing content? It's the best housing content in any game I played, so I have to give it a 10. Graphical fidelity. There were some times I noticed textures loading slow. So I'm gonna give it a 9. The graphics look great, but the textures are loading. Uh, they're rendering um, incorrectly. They're rendering shadows. Um, and it only happens sometimes. So I don't think it's like my insufficient graphics card or anything. I'll definitely meet the recommendations. Play it like above 60 frames at all times. But yeah, it could have just been that it's beta. I don't know. But I mean, the graphics look great. It's just the textures not loading properly. That was the only thing. Storytelling. Voice acting could have been a little better, but overall, great effort. Story's not too dramatic, not that engaging, but um, it is it's pretty interesting. Um, I would like to see more lore input into the game, but got a story. The arena was definitely the most enjoyable part of this game. We definitely need more classes, and we also need more small scale PvP. Um, I'm gonna say more small scale PvP. Jordan. Text localization was pretty spot on. Oh, there was one tooltip that was still in Korean. It used to pop up on the loading screen, and it was still be in Korean letters. That's why I'm gonna give it a 9. But everything in the game was translated correctly. Have any specific feedback about the text localization excluding audio? Yeah. Overloading screen tooltips appear with Korean text. Quality of the voiceovers, like the quality of it was fairly good. It's just the fact that the voice acting was the only aspect of the quality that could have used some improvement. But as far as the flow of the audio and like the immersion of the audio and the voiceovers, I think that was pretty spot on. There was just not that much emotion of voiceovers. There should be more emotion in the voiceovers. Performance issues. No, none of those. Just the slightly slow loading textures. Sometimes it would just happen very randomly. I would definitely recommend any and every single one of my friends to download Elyon. Will you continue playing Elyon after CBT on release? Yes. How is your final impression? Gonna give it a 9. Still needs to be some improvements, but you have an amazing game. It will succeed in America as long as you release this game and it is not pay to win. I repeat, America does not want this game to be pay to win. As long as it's not pay to win, this game will succeed because it's amazing. Literally, one of the most amazing games I've played. Definitely this year. The most concise way I can say, I would describe Elyon in one word. Fun.